Hello everyone, ARG back, back from vacation, and back for some more hockey action. So I visited California for the first time in my life, and I got to see my Ottawa Senators lose 2 games out of 2 to the 2 games I went to. That's okay, they also lost the one in San Jose, but I wasn't there. And I got to meet finally with my longtime viewer JT Dutch. So again, whenever you catch that on YouTube, it was nice meeting you. So that is a done deal. So I am back. It's been a little bit more than a week, and who the heck injured Ray Shepherd while I was gone? That's not nice. I need Ray Shepherd. But anyway. Alright, so it's February in my universe, February of 1990. We're about to move away from the Velcro shoes and mullets. So, February means that I'm signing some players to extensions, so the 4 that fit my requirements are getting extensions, even though they are maybe not the best players on my team. I have a trade that's going to happen here shortly. The best part of the trade, I think, or the best piece that I'm getting back is injured, so he's gonna be missing a little bit of time. But I believe he's out for 1 to 2 months, so he's gonna come back with Ray Shepherd. They can hang out together and create some chemistry and whatnot. So yeah, I have a trade in the books. I wanted to make a trade because I have players that have expiring contracts that I cannot sign, so I needed to take care of that. I do not like to lose players for nothing. So there was only one trade offer that the player had A, R, or G in their name, so I had to go with that and then make a bigger trade out of that. It took me a second, but it's been done. Alright. Alright, so I think we should get started here pretty soon. We're 3rd in the conference, so we were passed by Calgary. Again, Calgary is only 1 point ahead of us. And we have 2 games on. However, we have not been playing very well lately. And with the trade that I'm making, I'm gonna get a little bit weaker even. I need to stop making those trades. I need to stop making trades where I know that I'm the loser. Well, I'm not the loser per se, it's just that the interesting piece is hurt. So anyway. Alright, so we are going to be hosting Chicago here to start the month. So we're going to have 2 home games, then a quick away game, then a quick home game, then some away games, and then so on and so forth. Alright, so Chicago is in town today. They are 26, 22, and 3. That's good for 2nd in the conference. Again, I've explained that before. The reason why they are 2nd and we are 3rd, because despite the difference in points, we have more points than them, is because they lead their division. So they are ahead of me in the conference because of that. We are 1-0-1 against Chicago, so we won 4-1 in Chicago, and we tied 1-1 at the Forum in Inglewood. So let's get things started. Yeah, I'm checking how badly I'm screwing my team up with that trade. Oh well. Eventually, we're going to be really strong. Alright. So the Blackhawks are going to go with Vincent Riendo in net, and we are going to go with Glenn Ely. And we need some W's. We didn't do very good in January, as I recall. It was over a week ago, but I seem to recall that we did poorly. And it starts with a loss. Alright, not great. So we lost 5-4. So that's another L for the Kings. We were outshot yet again, 41-29. Denis Savard was the first star of the game. He had 3 goals and an assist. Wayne Gretzky was the second star with 2 goals. And Gary Nyland was the third star with 2 assists. It was a sellout crowd yet again here in Inglewood. So we've been losing a lot, but we still sell a lot of tickets. So the owner has got to be happy, right? Alright, so Wayne Gretzky opened up the scoring in the first period. That was his 55th of the season from Gordonine and Luc Robitaille. Then the Blackhawks tied the game, and then Randy Ladouceur scored from Jim Fox and Mike Krushelinski. 2-1 Kings at that point, and then the Blackhawks tied the game. It was 2-2 after 1. And in the second period, Chris Conto scored his 10th from Randy Wood and Gary Galley, made it 3-2 for us. But then, yet again, the Blackhawks tied the game. It was tied at 3 after 2. There was even a fight between Randy Ladouceur and Mike Eagles. Then in the third period, Wayne Gretzky scored again from Ron Duguay and Luc Robitaille. We were up 4-3, but then the Blackhawks scored 2 goals, and they ran away with the win in regulation, so we lost 5-4. There was another fight. Oh, Gary Galley fought with Dave Manson. Ooh. I think I like Gary Galley. I think he might have been out of his weight class here. I'm just saying. And, you know, Gary Galley would probably agree with me on that one. Alright, so another loss. Oh, there's a bunch of news incoming. Alright, so Denis Savard keeps fans on their feet all night. As we saw, he had a hat-trick, 3 goals and an assist for Denis Savard. Oh, Ray Borg is suspended in Boston. He's going to miss 2 games. Good night for Cam Neely in that same game. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals against Montreal. Ron Francis extends his assist streak to 8 games with an assist against the Flyers. Bruce McNeil is satisfied despite that we went 6-5-1 in the last one, so didn't do too good. Brett Hull is going to stick around in St. Louis, signed a 2-year extension. Scott Arneal signed. Gerald Deduck signed. Richie Dunn signed. And Randy Wood signed. There we go. All of our 4 guys that I'm re-signing have signed. Alright, so we have a day off, and then we're going to be hosting the Calgary Flames. That's going to be a great opportunity for us to catch back to them. So it looks like they tied. Yeah, they tied 1-1 against Vancouver. So that's going to be a really good opportunity to leapfrog them while keeping our games on if we can win the next 2 games, since they're both against the Flames. Paul Mclean has racked up 300 goals in his career. He had a goal and an assist against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Randy Carlyle has achieved 600 points in his career. Got an assist. That happened against Vancouver. He's 33 with a 3-star rating. I forgot to look at that information for Paul Mclean. I apologize. Coach reports on new players. Don't really care. Alright, so St. Louis is shopping Rick Meagher. Alright, we're playing at home against Calgary. So Calgary is now 27-20-7. They are again first in the conference with that record. We are 2-2 against the Flames this season. We need to win this game. We need to not let them distance us in the standings. So we need a big game from Wayne here. Alright, Rick Wamsley is going to be in net for Calgary. We're going to go with Roddy Melanson for that one. And we lost 6-3. That's not good, folks. We're terrible all of a sudden. Thank God we started the season pretty strong. We were outshot 34-32 in this particular game. Rick Natras was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Jamie McCann was the second star with 2 goals, and Joe Mullen was the third star with a goal and an assist. And I don't remember if I said it, but the loss was a 6-3 loss. On home ice, in front of a sellout crowd, yet again, they don't give up, do they? Somehow I have a feeling that JT Dutch is in the stands over there and not being too happy with the way that the Kings are playing. Alright, so the Flames scored 4 unanswered goals in the first period. That was pretty much it right there. Then they added a 5th goal in the second period. Then Randy Ladouceur scored in a second game in a row from Wayne Gretzky and Jim Fox. Then Wayne Gretzky scored from Randy Busick and Jeff Smith. It was 5-2 Flames after 2. Then in the third period, Luc Robitaille scored on the power play from Gary Galley and Jim Fox, and then the Flames added 1 more goal in an empty net, and it was a 6-3 final score for the Flames. Yeah, I feel like I'm getting sick or something. Maybe it's allergies or something. It feels like my voice, my throat, my nose, my mouth, my elbows, everything feels odd right now. It doesn't feel like me. Maybe I'm just somebody wearing a mask. Who knows? Alright. So Colin Patterson is on waivers. I am not going to claim him. Larry Robinson has a strong game. He had 4 assists against the Buffalo Sabres. There was no stopping Tim Kerr with 4 goals against the North Stars. Ooh, that's a good performance right there. Suspension over for Terry Cartner with Philly. He is going to be back in the lineup over there. Jeff Brown extends his point streak to 13 games with an assist against the Hartford Whalers, and that was 8 straight games with an assist for him. And in that same game, Ron Francis got a goal and an assist, and that extended his assist streak to 9 games. And Wendell Clark is suspended. He's going to miss 2 games. Well. Alright, so let's advance a day. I'm guessing my trade is gonna go through here. Oh, they came back and said no way, even though it said that they would probably accept the trade. Well, that's not good. Or maybe it is good because I would have made my team weaker in the meantime, I guess. Alright, Pat LaFontaine extends his assist streak to 8 games. He had 2 goals and 2 assists against the Buffalo Sabres. Ron Francis achieved 500 assists in his career with an assist against Montreal. Ron Francis is 26 years old and a 5-star player. Ron Francis extends his point streak to 12 games with that assist in that game against Montreal. And it was 10 straight games with an assist for him. Kelly Kisio is suspended with the Rangers. He's going to miss 2 games. Roosevelt Farkas. The coach for the Bruins might lose his job. The Bruins are 13, 32, and 10. Jeff Brown's point streak ended at 13 games. He was held scoreless against the Bruins. And of course, his assist streak also ended at 8 games. Ray Borg is already back from suspension for the Bruins. And so that was the trade that I thought I was going to go through. So I was offering Jim Fox, Chris Kontos, and Bob Kudelski to the Blues for Rick Meagher, Cliff Running, and Mike Addison. Cliff Running was the big piece for me as far as that trade goes, but he's hurt right now with a fractured arm. So that was the guy that I had kind of targeted. Hey FJ, what's up? And of course, you know, Meagher is the guy that they had offered me. He's on the trading block and everything. He's 36. I didn't really care that much, but I tried to make a trade work and it didn't, so screw you, Ron Caron. Alright, so we are now playing in Calgary against the Flames, who are now 4 points ahead of us, so we need to win this game so that we can try to catch up. We are now 2-3 against them this season, so we kind of need that W here pretty bad. How are you doing, FJ? Oh, you guys are graded with letters in Norway. So is a B good for you or is it bad? I don't know if you're a good student or not. Alright, so Glenn Ely is going to be in net for us. Rick Wamsley is going to be in net for the Flames. Come on, Kings. Give me a W here. And that's another loss. We lost 5-4. Now the Flames are 6 points ahead of us. That's not good. And we still haven't won in February. Alright, so we were outshot 46-28 in this game. That's not good. Akan Lube was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and an assist. Wayne Gretzky was the second star with 2 goals. And Gary Suter was the third star with a goal and 2 assists. Gary Suter, I tried to trade for you. Alright, so the Flames scored twice in the first period, and then Wayne Gretzky scored on the power play from Jim Fox and Luc Robitaille, and then Chris Kontos from Mike Krushelinski and Marty McSorley. It was tied at 2 after 1. Right, I know how the letter system works. I've lived in the US long enough, and that's what they use here. I just don't know if a B is good for you or like for you personally. Like, I don't know if you used to be a straight A student and that you worked really hard and that you're disappointed with the B, or if you're pretty happy with it. Looks like you're pretty happy with it, so that's what matters. Alright, so the Flames scored in the second period, and then it was 3-2 Flames after 2. Now in the third period, the Flames scored again, made it 4-2. Then Wayne Gretzky scored from Luc Robitaille and Bob Kudelski, made it 4-3 Calgary. Then Calgary scored in an empty net, made it 5-3. And then we managed to score with 3 seconds left in the game. Scott Arniel scored his 5th unassisted. It was a 5-4 game at that point. It was too late. We couldn't tie it, of course. And there was a fight between Rob Ramage and Ken Baumgartner as well to make things more interesting, I suppose. Alright, so we're kind of in a pickle, and now we have Jeff Smith, who's hurt. Hopefully not for too long. I don't have a whole lot of, day-to-day. Yeah, you can live with it. Ray Borg has a strong game. He had 4 assists against Detroit. Pretty good game. There was no stopping Cam Neely in that same game. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals. Pat LaFontaine extends his assist streak to 9 games with an assist against the Pittsburgh Penguins. There was no stopping Dan Quinn in that same game. He had 4 goals against the Islanders. Wow. Gary Lehman extends his assist streak to 8 games with an assist against the Blues. Ken Quinney of the Quebec Nordiques got suspended and he's going to miss 4 games. And Yari Curry extended with the Oilers. A 4-year extension at almost $600,000 a year. Alright, we have a day off and then we're going to be back home to play against the Jets. Alright, Rick Vive has been put on waivers by the Blues. Oh dear God, Rick Vive is done. His strongest role is a 7 as a grinder. Why is it... Is it just me or my screen got like dark or something? That's so weird. What happened? Is my eyesight dropping rapidly or something? Oh, you did start a save with Seattle. How do you like playing as the expansion team? Are you already winning the cup in your second season or something? Ron Francis extends his point streak to 13 games. He had an assist against the North Stars, and it was 11 straight games with an assist for him. There was no stopping Vincent Enfous, 4 goals against the Blues. Gary Lehman extends his assist streak to 9 games with a goal and 2 assists against the Blues. And Wendell Clark is back from suspension with the Maple Leafs. Oh my, 4 seasons missing the playoffs. Did you get Shane right? Alright, so Winnipeg is in town. They are 22-30-3. That's good for 8 in the conference. We are 2-1 against the Winnipeg Jets this season. We need to win something fierce here. Fans are going to start committing heinous crimes or something. Alright, Frank Caprice is going to be in net for the Jets. Glenn Ely is going to be in net for us. Go Kings! Ah, there you go. That's a win. I forgot to say Go Kings at the start of the stream. That's why we've been losing. Man, I wish I could get a do-over. It's all my fault. Alright, it's a 5-3 victory here against the Jets at home, finally. We were outshot again. I don't like that tendency at all. I'm not used to that. I'm used to building teams that outshot the opposition 77-3 or something. So we were outshot 38-35. Mike Gartner was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Dale Auerchuk was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Luc Robitaille was the third star with 2 goals and an assist. Full crowd yet again in Inglewood. Okay. So what good addition did you make to the Seattle team? Did you make some good trades? Alright, so the Jets opened up the scoring in the first, and then Luc Robitaille tied the game from Marty McSorley and Mike Gartner. It was tied at 1 after 1. Then in the second period, Mike Gartner scored from Dan Gratton and Randy Ladouceur. It was 2-1. Then Luc Robitaille scored from Wayne Gretzky and Mike Gartner. It was 3-1 Kings at that point. Then the Jets scored, and then Wayne Gretzky scored his 60th goal of the season. A power play tally from Luc Robitaille and Mike Ridley. 4-2 Kings after 2. There was a fight between Gord Dineen and Laurie Boschman. And then in the third period, Randy Wood scored on the power play in an empty net from Marty McSorley and Mike Krushelinski. Made it 5-2, and then the Jets did score one more goal, made it 5-3, and 5-3 is the final score, and we will take it because we really needed a win. Oh, Mike Ridley is injured, but it's a day-to-day injury. His name is not in red, so we're good. Alright, Mike Ridley, day-to-day with a sore calf muscle. Suck it up, Buttercup. You're staying in the lineup. Oh, it all rhymes. Suck it up, Buttercup. You're staying in the lineup. Oh. I am going to become a lyricist. Actually, I used to be a lyricist, but I am not anymore. Oh, and Nick Foligno, huh? That's interesting. Nick Foligno, of course, started his career with the Sens. I did like him, but he had a tendency to take a lot of penalties in the blue circle, like he would get a lot of like goalie interference calls and everything. It was getting a little frustrating sometimes. But I'm sure he's matured since and doesn't take those all that often anymore. Alright, and Pat LaFontaine's assist streak ended at 9 games. Yet he did have a goal against the Flyers, but no assist for him. Alright, we have one more day off, and then we're going to be... Oh, that's going to be a tough game. Kelly Kisio suspensions and back in the lineup with the Rangers. Ron Francis extends his point streak to 14 games with 2 assists against the Canucks, and of course his assist streak is now 12 games long. No further action needed for Washington. Scott Mellenby was not suspended. And Mark Hunter is on the trade block by the Flames. Why have you never liked Marcus Johansson? A little overrated as a player, I think. He kind of rode that Washington fame a little, it feels like. Because he was playing with good players. At least that's how I feel about him. I don't know how you feel about it. Alright, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is 30-20-5, so they are pretty good. We did win in Pittsburgh earlier in the season. It was actually a 3-0 win for us. So we're back in Pittsburgh. Hopefully we beat them again. That would be pretty great. Rolly Melanson is going to be in net for us. Don Beaupre is going to be in net for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Oh, that's a nice win. We won this one 6-1. So Wayne Gretzky had the upper hand on Super Mario, huh? 6-1 win in Pittsburgh. We outshot Pittsburgh 46-24. Wayne Gretzky was the first star of the game. He had 4 assists. Mike Gartner was the second star with a goal and 2 assists, and Gord Deneen was the third star with a goal and an assist. Alright, so Luc Robitaille opened up the scoring in the first period. That was a power play goal from Marty McSorley and Wayne Gretzky. Then Mike Krushelinski scored from Gerald Deduck and Chris Kontos. Then the Pittsburgh Penguins scored, but then Scott Arniel scored again, or scored rather, from Randy Ladouceur and Mike Gartner. It was 3-1 Kings after one. A few fights in the first period as well. Let's see, Bob Airy got in a scrap with Gord Deneen. Then Dan Frawley fought Marty McSorley. Then nobody scored in the second period, and then in the third period, Gary Galley scored on the power play from Wayne Gretzky and Marty McSorley, then Gord Deneen from Mike Gartner and Wayne Gretzky, and then Mike Gartner from Gord Deneen and Wayne Gretzky. 6-1 Kings is the final score. Pretty great game in Pittsburgh here. I'm pretty happy with that result. Yeah, that's pretty much the same reasons that I invoked. Good game for Wayne Gretzky, 4 assists, as we said. It was pretty beautiful. Oh, Roosevelt Farkas lost his job as the coach of the Bruins. Who's going to replace him? Lou Nanny is the new coach for the Bruins. The red light stays on for Gary Roberts. He had a hat-trick against the Red Wings. Gary Lehman was hurt against the Waiters. He's going to miss a month, 4 weeks, with a strained PCL. Ron Francis extends his point streak to 15. He had a goal and an assist against the Leafs. Ron Francis extended his assist streak to 13 games with a goal and an assist in that same game. It was the same player too. I had a little brain fart. Those happen, and they tend to happen more and more as you get older. So get used to it. One day I'm going to be talking complete nonsense, if I haven't started already. Gary Lehman's assist streak ended at 9 games in the same game here against the Waiters. Prolific passing night for Denis Savard, who had 4 assists against the Minnesota North Stars. Denis Savard extends his point streak to 12 games. So that was 12 straight games for him with at least a point for Denis Savard. Mike Ballard has a memorable game for the Blues. He had 3 goals and 2 assists against the Devils. Pretty good game. Mike Ridley is about to come back, and so is Jeff Smith. So my 2 day-to-day guys are feeling better. They've rubbed some dirt or on whatever was hurting, and they're feeling better. I see. So you didn't like traded for some of your abs favorites, like Petzetta or something. He has a great mullet and a porn stash. That's something. I don't know what it is, but it is something. All right. So we have a day off. Then we're going to be in Toronto to play against the Leafs. And they have already an injury and stuff. So, yeah. Oh, Brian Leach has a day-to-day injury. Feels like it's like the third time this season that Brian Leach is out with a day-to-day injury. This time he has a bruised arm. Jeff Courtney extends his point streak to 12 games, now playing with the Flyers. That's true. That was the trade Scott Mellenby for Jeff Courtney. There were other players, I don't remember who. So he had an assist in a game against Pittsburgh. Bernie Nichols got 300 goals in his career with a goal and 2 assists in a game against the Minnesota North Stars. Mike Ridley is completely recovered, and Jeff Smith is almost back. Oh yeah? Did you redraft with Seattle, or did you just take their... You just took their real team, right? Since you had Marcus Johansson, you wouldn't have picked Marcus Johansson since you hate him so much. Yeah, that's... I answered my own question as I was speaking. Man, I wish it would have been that easy in school. You know, just read a question out loud and you answer it, you know, by yourself. I was a pretty good student, except in math. I was great in math until algebra. Then, you know, I couldn't remember the formulas to save my life. So that was very difficult for me. But anyway. Alright, so in Toronto to play the Leafs, they are 25, 27, and 5. That's good for 6th in the conference. We are 2-0 against the Leafs this season. We have not lost yet against them. I'm gonna have a vain moment. I'm gonna fix my... camera a little bit. That's what I call my vain moment. Alright, let's play against the Leafs here. I want another massacre. Glenn Ely in net for us. A John Casey in net for the Leafs. Go Kings! Wow, we're a great road team. Apparently, we just cannot win at home. We don't like our arena, I guess. 8-3 victory here in Toronto. Maple Leafs fans are throwing their jerseys on the ice. And it's a beautiful sight. Oh yeah? Who else do you have that's playing pretty good? We outshot Toronto 29-28. Randy Wood was the first. Oh, he had a great game. 5 assists for Randy Wood. Miles Dodd. Mike Gartner was the second star with 2 goals and an assist, and Gord Dineen was the third star with a goal and an assist. Alright, so the Leafs scored twice in the first period, then we scored 3 times. Mike Ridley from Bob Kudelski and Randy Wood, then Mike Gartner scored his 10th from Gord Dineen and Randy Wood. Gord Dineen from Randy Wood and Chris Kontos. It was a 3-2 lead at that point, but the Leafs tied the game with 6 seconds left to go in the first period. It was 3-3 after 1. Then in the second period, Mike Ridley scored his 15th from Randy Wood, then Wayne Gretzky from Mike Gartner and Randy Ladouceur, then Gary Galley scored from Scott Arniel and Dan Gratton. It was a 6-3 lead for the Kings after 2. In the third period, Gary Galley scored on the power play from Randy Wood and Chris Kontos, and then Mike Gartner from Wayne Gretzky and Gerald Deduck. It was an 8-3 final score. Victory for the Kings. And there was a fight between Al Seckard and Gord Dineen. Alright, so Rod Buskis and Magnus Roop are available on waiver. I'm going to check this guy out. He's barely acceptable. So I'm going to pass, I think. Strong game for Randy Wood. I know I was there. 5 assists. You don't see that every day. Maybe in the 80s, but not now. Oh, you got Tony D'Angelo ready? You're willing to take a guy that's that has a history of not being a nice person? All right, so I'm going to advance one more day. Okay, Ray Shepard is 2 to 3 weeks away. I cannot wait to have Ray Shepard back in the lineup. It feels like I have a big hole in my lineup because he's not there. Denis Savard extends his point streak to 13 games. He had an assist against the Buffalo Sabres. Doug Gilmour extends his point streak to 12 games. He had a goal against the Islanders. Jeff Courtney extends his point streak to 13 games with an assist against the Rangers. Excellent passing leads to productive night for Guy Lafleur. He had 4 assists in that same game against the Flyers. There was no stopping John Ogrodnik. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals. Jeff Smith is almost fully recovered. And Steve Yzerman signed an extension with the Red Wings. 2-year extension, $530,000 per year. Isn't 30 goals 10 less than what Cole Caulfield was supposed to score in real life this year? There were a lot of Montreal fans on the French forums that were saying that Cole Caulfield would score 40 goals. Not only he was going to score 40, but it would be easy. That's what I have to deal with as a French speaker, native, reader, and everything. I have to deal with people that don't really understand how things work. Oh, thankfully not all Abs fans are like that. There are people that understand what's what, but I was reading that and I was like, seriously? Like, there's only a handful of players every season that score 40 goals, and you think a rookie is gonna do it easily? I don't think so. Yeah, not exactly what happened for him so far this season. Hey, maybe he's gonna get to 40 if he gets started soon. But anyway, I'm not bashing on him. He's gonna be a pretty good player. Alright, we're in Detroit to play against the Wings. Wings are 28, 27, and 2. Maybe a little bit of a disappointing record for the Wings here. They're still 4th in the conference with that record, though. We are 0-1-1 against Detroit. We have not beaten them this season. Glenn Ely is going to be in net for us. Greg Stefan is going to be in net for the Wings. We lost 4-3 in overtime. No point for us. It's 1990. Sucks to be us. Alright, so 4-3 overtime loss. We were outshot 41-29. Adam Oates was the first star of the game. He had 3 assists. Randy Ledouceur was the second star with a goal. And Bob Probert was the third star with a goal as well. Alright, the Wings scored 2 goals to open up the first period. And then Chris Conto scored from Mike Gartner and Randy Wood. It was 2-1 Detroit after 1. Then nobody scored in the second. There were a couple fights. Joey Kosher and Gordonine got into it, and then Sean Burr and Gerald Deduck. So 2 fights in the second period. Then in the third period, Randy Ledouceur scored his 5th from Scott Arniel, and Ron Duguay was tied at 2. Then the Wings scored, made it 3-2. Then Luke Robitaille scored his 25th from Mike Gartner and Wayne Gretzky, tied the game at 3 with a minute and 31 seconds left to go in the third period. We felt pretty good, but we went in overtime, and Bob Probert saw some overtime action and scored the game winner. There was also a fight in overtime between Paul Cavallini and Gerald Deduck. Alright, Steve Dykstra is on waivers. Oh, doing better than real life Chris Dredger. He's been struggling, and now I think he's hurt or something. Dan Quinn extends his goal streak to 5 games with a goal and 2 assists against the Rangers. Sylvain Turgeon extends his goal streak to 5 games with 2 goals against the Leafs. Jeff Smith is completely recovered. Oh, there's been a trade between the Capitals and the Whalers. John Anderson goes to the Caps for Gilles Hamel. Alright, we are now in Minnesota to play against the North Stars. North Stars are 22-30-8. That's good for 7th in the conference. That's actually going to be our first game of the season against Mini. So we're going to take a look at their lineup here. Let's see. Alright, so they have Bob Brook, who's hurt, not going to play this game. Neither is Neil Broughton, and neither is Ryan Walter. Alright, the players that are going to be playing this game, Doug Keynes and Carrie Taco, Sean Chambers, Mark Hardy, Jacobson, Mo Manta, Frank Musil, Bob Rouse. God, it feels... See, I was looking at all of those defensemen and I was like, man, that D sounds old, but that's because I'm used to playing the 90s and deeper in the 90s and everything. They're not all that old. Brian Bellows up front, Pat Conacher, De Palma, LeBlanc, Liba, McLennan, Broughton, Cox, Gagne, Walter, Bustad, Brown, Cicerelli, Gavin, and Leach. Alright, let's see if we can beat the North Stars. A nice little win would be great. Rolly Melanson in net for us, Doug Keynes in net for Mini. And we lost 5-4. Yeah, not a great month again. I don't think we're going to win the cup this year, folks. You might be stuck with me for longer until I figure this shit out. Alright, Minnesota outshot us 34-23. Dave Gagne was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Mike Gartner was the second star with a goal and an assist. And LeBlanc was the third star with a goal and an assist as well. Minnesota opened up the scoring in the first period, then Richie Dunn scored from Gerald Deduck and Mike Gartner. It was tied at 1 after 1. Then in the second period, Mike Gartner scored from Wayne Gretzky and Luke Robitaille. It was a 2-1 Kings lead after 2. And there were some fights there. Let's see, Larry De Palma and Marty McSorley fought, and then Larry De Palma and Gerald Deduck. Alright. Then a lot of scoring happened in the third period. Randy Wood scored from Mike Ridley, made it 3-1 for the Kings. Then the North Stars scored, made it 3-2. Then Mike Ridley scored from Scott Arneal and Jim Fox. It was 4-2. And then the Stars, or North Stars, scored 3 unanswered goals to run away with a 5-4 victory. Yikes. We had that. We were leading 4-2 in the third period. We had that game and we just couldn't close it out. Oh, that's gonna hurt the Flames. That's good for us. Joe Nieuwendyk is out for 3 months with an injury. A partially torn labrum. Doug Gilmore's point streak ended at 12 games in that same game. No points for him. Chris Jensen extends his goal streak to 5 games. He had 2 goals in the same game. Denis Savard, yet still in that same game, extended his point streak to 14 games with a goal and 2 assists. That was 8 straight games with an assist for him. In another game in the league, because it was not the only game that was played, Jeff Courtney extended his point streak to 14 games with an assist against the Leafs. Memorable game for Bernie Fedorko. He had 3 goals and an assist against the Quebec Nordiques. And speaking of the Nordiques, Ken Quinney is back from suspension. Right, we have a day off, and then we're going to be back home to play against the Quebec Nordiques. Jeff Courtney's point streak ended at 14 games. No point for him against the Red Wings. Dan Quinn extended his goal streak to 6 games with a goal and an assist against the Jets. Strong night for Zardy Zalewski in that same game. He had 4 assists. Scott Stevens extended with the Capitals. 2-year contract extension. $600,000 per season. And the Jets are trying to trade Laurie Boschman. Alright, so the Nordiques are in town. They are 23, 26, and 9, so they are not like ridiculously terrible anymore. However, we have been unable to beat the Nordiques this season. We played them twice, and both times the game ended in a 3-3 tie. Let's see if we can beat them today. Or maybe we are just destined. Maybe it's just our destiny to tie against them forever. Daniel Berthiaume in net for the Nordiques. Glenn Healy in net for us. And it's a 5-4 win for the Kings. Finally a home victory there. We outshot Quebec 43-33. Gary Galley was the first star of the game. He had 3 assists. Dusan Pasic was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Jim Fox was the third star with 2 goals. Another sellout crowd in LA for the Kings. Nordiques opened up the scoring in the first period, and then we scored 3 goals. Wayne Gretzky from Luc Robitaille and Gary Galley, then Scott Arneal from Bob Kudelski and Gary Galley, and then Jim Fox on the power play from Gary Galley and Wayne Gretzky. 3-1 Kings here after 1. There was a fight between Gerald Deduck and Walt Podobny. Then in the second period, the Nordiques came back and tied the game. It was 3-3 after 2. Then the Nordiques took the lead, but it was finally our turn to come back in the third and turn it around and win. Jim Fox tied the game. It was an unassisted goal, and then Mike Gartner scored the game winner from Gerald Deduck and Randy Wood. 5-4, Kings victory. And some fights in the third period. Marty McSorley and Ken Quinney. Then Gerald Deduck and Anton Stashny. Marty McSorley with Mark Vermette. And that was it. That's enough. Enough fighting. Enough face punching. Chris Jensen extends his goal streak to 6 games with a goal and an assist against the Islanders. Denis Savard extended his point streak to 15 games with an assist in that same game. And that was 9 straight games with an assist for him. Gerard Gallant was suspended with the Red Wings. He's going to miss 7 games. God, what did he do? What did he do? Biting, apparently, only gives a 5-game suspension. As I saw live, I was at the complete other end of the arena, too, so I had no idea what the heck was going on. And then John Mclean keeps fans on their feet all night. He had 3 goals and an assist against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Alright, so we have 1 day off, and then we're going to be hosting the Washington Capitals. Actually, we're finishing the month at home, where we have not been very good lately. Dan Quinn extended his goal streak to 7 games with a goal and 3 assists against the Chicago Blackhawks. Pretty good game. Denis Savard extended his point streak to 16 games. He had a goal and an assist against the Pittsburgh Penguins in that same game. And that was 10 straight games with an assist for him. Dave Gagne has a strong game. Oh yeah, really strong game. 3 goals and 4 assists against the Edmonton Oilers. Hakan Lube has a great game. 4 assists against the Jets. And there was no stopping Gary Roberts. 4 goals and 2 assists in that same game against the Jets. Alright. So, the Washington Capitals are in town now. They are 24-29-7 this season. We have lost both games against them so far this season. So I'm looking for a victory here. Andy Moog, whom I didn't manage to claim, will be the starter for the Capitals. Rody Melanson's going to be in net for us. Lost 2-1. Couldn't beat the Caps yet again. And yet again we have a loss at home. We were outshot 29-18 in this game. Bernie Nichols was the first star against his former team with a goal. Jeff Smith was the second star with an assist. And John Anderson was the third star with an assist. Full crowd yet again in LA, but we can't give them many victories. Alright, the Caps opened up the scoring in the first period. Then Mike Krushalinski scored his 5th from Jeff Smith and Mike Ridley. It was tied at 1 after 1. Nobody scored in the second. Then in the third period, Washington scored early in the third. We could never tie the game. And there was a fight between Marty McSorley and Shell Samuelson. Ugh, couldn't win. Bob McGill is available on waivers, and so is Jim Benning. No one could stop John Ogrodnik playing for the Rangers, so 3 goals and an assist against the Devils. And that was 5 straight games with a goal for him. Alright, 1 day off, and then we're going to be playing against Minnesota. Right, so Tim Bernard, who is on waivers. I am not going to claim him. I cannot anyway. Alright, good game for Mark Howe, who's been put on the block, I think. No, it wasn't him. Sorry, I got confused. Alright, Mark Howe on display here with a 3 goals and 2 assists performance against Pittsburgh. Wow. Denis Savard extends his point streak to 17 games with a goal and 2 assists against the Blues. And that was 11 straight games with an assist for him. And Dave Andreychuk extended with the Buffalo Sabres. 2 more years at $345,000 per. Alright, so we are now hosting the North Stars. They are now 24-30-8. That's good for 7th in the conference. They played a nasty trick on us in the last game. We were up 4-2, and then they came back in the third and won. So we are 0-1 against them. Samsonov, man. Sergei Samsonov must be old by now. I hope that... I'm just joking. I know who you're talking about. I'm trying that thing called humor, and I'm failing, but that's okay. The important part is to, is to participate. Yeah, Rantanen, wait, you're what, 4 year? Yeah, he's around Rantanen must be around 30 by now in your universe. Yeah, 28. Alright. Yeah, in his prime for a couple more years. Alright, let's play the North Stars and beat them. Kari Taco is going to be in net for Minnesota. Glenn Ely is going to be in net for us. Come on, I need a big fat W with bacon. Oh, I think I got a double side of bacon because that's an 8-2 victory. So we beat Minnesota 8-2 on home ice. We needed that. That's good. We outshot Minnesota 33-24. Wayne Gretzky was the first star of the game. He had 3 goals and an assist. Luc Robitaille was the second star with 2 goals and an assist. And Mike Ridley was the third star with 3 assists. Full crowd yet again here in the stands. We scored 5 unanswered goals in the first period. Luc Robitaille scored from Wayne Gretzky and Mike Gartner, then Luc Robitaille from Mike Ridley and Gerald Deduck. Jim Fox from Mike Krushelinski and Mike Ridley. Wayne Gretzky scored on the power play from Mike Ridley and Gary Galley, then Wayne Gretzky again from Bob Kudelski and Scott Arneal. 5-0 Kings after 1. Pretty good lead. Then the North Stars scored twice in the second period, and then Wayne Gretzky completed his hat-trick with his 65th of the season from Luc Robitaille and Mike Gartner. Then Mike Gartner scored on the power play from Chris Kontos and Randy Wood, 7-2. Then there was a fight between Marty McSorley and Craig Cox. And then in the third period, Chris Kontos scored with 5 seconds left to go in the game from Gord Duneen and Bob Kudelski. It was an 8-2 trouncing of the Minnesota North Stars. Thank you very much. Marty McSorley got into a fight with Mark Hardy. Oh, it's Mark Hardy, I think, that was put on the trading block. And then Gerald Deduck and Craig Cox fought. So, oh god, did I see somebody at -5? I sure did. Mark Hardy was a -5 in this game. That's no matter how you look at it, that's not good. I'm not a big plus-minus fan of the stat, but oh, of course. So Wayne Gretzky is hurt. Oh, he's only day-to-day. Alright. We're gonna need to learn to do things without him. Alright. He has hamstring soreness, so he's gonna be out for just a little bit. And I have a few days off, I think, so hopefully it's enough. He still lit the lamp before leaving the game. He had 3 goals and an assist, as we saw. John Ogrodnik extend his goal streak to 6 games with a goal against the Red Wings. And there's been a trade between the Flyers and the Rangers. Mark Lavar goes to the Rangers for Paul Eisenbart. Alright. Right, we have 2 days off, and then we're going to be playing against the Vancouver Canucks without Wayne Gretzky. Who is this guy? Russ Fitzpatrick. I am not going to claim him, although I could. Are you good at something? You're good at staying on waivers. That's a great talent of yours. Yeah. Yeah, you might want to get rid of that rookie or that young guy. He doesn't fit there. You should send him to the Sens for Del Zotto. You look like you could use Michael Del Zotto on your team. Or maybe you could get Zaitsev for him. There's not a lot of players whose last name start with a Z, so, you know. Wow, I can only wish that it would happen in real life. We're like sitting there with 4 wins and we're in December. Actually, yesterday during the game, they showed the stat. We are on pace for our worst season since our opening season in 92-93. If we keep the same pace, that's rough, man. Oh, really? Jake Sanderson, a solid boss. Well, see, the game is broken. Alright, suspension for Calgary's Gary Suter. He's going to miss 6 games. Denis Savard's point streak ended at 17 games. It was held scoreless against the Bruins. That means that his assist streak ended at 11 games. No one could stop Pat Elenock. He had 3 goals and an assist against the Devils. There was no stopping Dan Quinn. He had a hat-trick against the Islanders. Ray Shepherd is about to come back to practice. Yay! And there's been a trade between Pittsburgh and the Oilers. Do we have a Lemieux for Curry trade or something crazy? No, we don't. Alright, so Dave McElwain and Ken McRae are going to Edmonton for Charlie Uddy and Kim Issel. Kim Issel. Yeah, I think that Charlie Uddy has to be the best player in that trade. He's a defensive-minded defenseman. So I would say that Pittsburgh probably won that trade. Alright, so we have 2 games left here in February. Ed Kastelik is on waivers, and so is Chris Sichucky. Can't say that I'm familiar with that guy. The hatred for the Sens runs rampant in every hockey video game. Kevin Dineen has a good game. He had 3 goals against the Buffalo Sabres. John Ogrodnik extends his goal streak to 7 games with 2 goals against the Capitals. And that was 12 straight games with a point for him. Wayne Gretzky should be back soon. That's good. Doug Wilson extended with Chicago a 1-year deal for $345,000. Bob Gainey is on the trading block. He now plays for the Leafs. Will Kurt Fraser be traded? The star-and-a-half player. I don't know. Maybe he will. Alright, so we're hosting the Canucks. Gretzky may or may not play. I don't know. Canucks are really bad again this season. 17-42-5 for them. They are dead last in the conference. We are 5-1 against the Canucks this season. And Gretzky is playing. Frank Pietrangelo in net for the Canucks. Rody Melanson in net for us. And it's a 3-2 win. Not pretty, not incredible, but it's a W. I will take it. We've been hungry for them this month. I bet, do they still have McDavid and Draisaitl? They probably do. Alright, so we were outshot 34-28 in this game. Randy Ledusser, of all people, was the first star of the game. He had an assist. Chris Kostopoulos was the second star with an assist, and Mike Gartner was the third star with a goal. Sellout crowd yet again in Inglewood. Canucks opened up the scoring in the first, then Mike Gartner scored his 15th from Wayne Gretzky and Gerald Deduck. It was tied at 1 after 1. Then in the second period, Bob Kudelski scored from Chris Kontos and Randy Wood. It was 2-1 Kings after 2. Then in the third period, the Canucks tied the game, and it looked like we were heading for a tie, but with 3 seconds left to go in the third period, Luc Robitaille scored from Richie Dunn and Randy Ledusser. It was a 3-2 win in extremis. And that's a W for the Kings. Dale Dunbar is on waivers, and I will not pick him up. Mike Gartner has recorded 900 points in his career. He had a goal against the Vancouver Canucks, as we saw. So 900 points. Gartner is 30, and he's still a 4.5 star player. Neil Broughton is hurt with Minnesota. He's going to miss 4 months. Ruptured foot tendon against Boston. John Mclean is suspended. He's going to miss 9 games with Detroit. Pretty good for McDavid. Those are good totals. Is Ovechkin going to beat Gretzky's record in your save? Adam Oates extends his point streak to 12 games with 3 assists against the Islanders. Open ice leads to a productive night for Mike Bullard playing for St. Louis. He had a goal and 4 assists against the Nordiques. Red light stays on for Brett Hall. He had 3 goals and 2 assists against the Nordiques in that same game. Right, Gretzky feeling better. Peter Inachak is being put on the trade block. I don't necessarily want him. He's an half-star player and he's 32. Phil Sykes also on the trading block. And the trade deadline is near. I know I'm going to need to turn around. And so it's on 3-2. So I'm going to need to turn around and do some trades before the next stream. Cool. I wonder if he's going to do it in real life. It's kind of exciting because I spent my childhood being told that nobody was going to beat any of Gretzky's records ever, so right, Sam Saint Laurent is on waivers. I can't pick him up anyway. Mark Messi is suspended. With the Oilers, he's gonna miss 7 games. Ouch for them. Adam Oates extends his point streak to 13 games. He had a goal against Washington. Wayne Gretzky fully recovered. Thank you very much. Vancouver might be looking to move Harold Schneps. I always struggle with that name. Rick Green has trade rumors around him. Vancouver is looking to trade Paul Lawless. And finally, there's been a trade between Philadelphia and Edmonton. Brian Dobbin and Don Nagbor went to the Oilers for Ken Hammond and Sam Saint Laurent. Not a great trade here. Not a big trade. Alright, we have a couple more days off before we host the Oilers, and that's going to be the last game of February. Pete Peters has been put on waivers by the Rangers. Let's see. He sure has. Oh, he plays for the Bruins. How do you feel about that? Alright, Kelly Kisio extends his assist streak to 8 games with a goal and an assist against the Bruins. John Ogrodnik extends his goal streak to 8 games with 2 goals and 2 assists in that same game. That was 13 straight games with a point for him as well. Minnesota's trying to move Jan Ludwig. Dan Deu might be traded by the Bruins. Oh, and there's been a trade between the Rangers and the Oilers. Peter Sidarkiewicz, I'm very familiar with Peter Sidarkiewicz, and Barry Richter go to the Rangers for Mark Tinordi and Norman Krumschmid. Mark Tinordi with the Oilers. That's an interesting trade. Alright. Herb Raglan got hurt with St. Louis, and he's out for 4 months with a torn thigh muscle. Yeah, well, you know that Vincent D'Anfous started his career with the Leafs, right? And isn't he one of your favorite 90s Montreal players? A good game for Brettel, 3 goals and an assist against the Buffalo Sabres. Alright, February score is counting. We're okay. Time for Calgary to trade Colin Patterson. That's the second time we got news about that this month. And Winnipeg is trying to move Alain Chevrier, the half-star goaltender. Not sure it was a mistake. I mean, you play where you can, I think, is what should be the thing. Alright, last game of this stream here. We are going to be hosting the Oilers. They are 27, 33, and 5. That's good for 6th in the conference. Oh, look at that. We're getting Ray Shepherd back in the next stream. That's beautiful. Grant Fuhr is going to be in net for the Oilers. We are going to go with Glenn Healy. And it's a 6-1 victory for the Kings to end the month. So we started pretty poorly, but we kind of picked it up as the month went along. So, yeah. Oh, we outshot the Oilers 30-14. I think that's the lowest amount of shots I've allowed since I started this, I think. Wayne Gretzky was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Gary Galley was the second star with 2 goals and an assist. And Mike Ridley was the third star with a goal and an assist. Another sellout crowd here in Inglewood. We scored 5 unanswered goals in the first period, which means that, you know, the game was pretty much out of hand already. So Gary Galley scored from Wayne Gretzky and Mike Gartner. Then Chris Contos from Jeff Smith and Randy Wood. Randy Busick from Marty McSorley and Gary Galley. Mike Ridley from Mike Krushelinski and Jim Fox. And Gary Galley scored his 20th on the power play from Wayne Gretzky and Mike Ridley. 5-0 Kings after 1. Then nobody scored in the second, and then in the third period, Wayne Gretzky scored from Scott Arniel and Gerald Deduck, made it a 6-0. Then the Oilers scored a goal. It was 6-1, and that was the final score. Yeah, I know, slow pace for him, right? Right, so Don Nagbor is on waivers. Of course, I'm not going to pick him up. Oh, that's going to hurt the Islanders, who is one of the best teams in the league. Pat LaFontaine is out for 3 months with a torn pectoral muscle. So 3 months without LaFontaine for the Islanders. Adam Oates extends his point streak to 14 games. He had a goal in that same game. Ron Francis extends his point streak to 16 games with a goal against the Montreal Canadiens. However, he only had a goal, so his assist streak ended at 13 games. Brian Leach is hurt with the Rangers yet again, and he's going to miss 9 days. So day-to-day injury for him. Kelly Kissio's assist streak ended at 8 games in that same game. No points against the Washington Capitals. John Ogrodnik's point streak also ended at 13 games for him. Paul Coffey extends his point streak to 12 games. He had 2 assists against the Devils. Alaya Freddy extends his goal streak to 5 games with a goal and 2 assists against the Nordiques. Our best-selling jerseys in February: Wayne Gretzky, Mike Gartner, Luke Robitaille, Scott Arniel. That's kind of surprising. And then Glenn Healy. Right. And looks like Wayne Gretzky didn't crack the top 20 of the most sold jerseys in the entire league. Mike McPhee, of all people, sold more than he did. Good old Mike McPhee. Mark Abscheid could be traded by the Sabres. Joel Quenneville is being shopped by the Whalers. Gilbert Delorme is on the trade block from the Blackhawks. And the players of the month in the month of February were Wayne Gretzky and Vincent Riendo. Wow. All right. So we kind of came back a little bit here. We're still third in the conference, though. We're 3 points behind the... Oh, 3 points behind the Chicago Blackhawks. So the Flames slid to second. We're only 1 point behind the Flames now. So we might be able to get our division back there. We have played the same amount of games now. So we're just 1 point behind. Alrighty. So before the next video, I will be attempting to make trades again, since the trade deadline is nearing. And hopefully that goes through. If not, I'm gonna lose players for nothing, and that's not gonna be fun. Alright, so let's take a look at the standings everywhere. Everywhere. Alright, so... Alright, so the 3 teams in the Wales Conference that are missing the playoffs as of now are the Nordiques, Bruins, and Devils. Nordiques are 4 points behind 8th place Buffalo Sabres, and they have 2 games in hand, so we don't know what's going to happen with that. And the 2 teams in the Campbell Conference that are about to miss the playoffs are the Winnipeg Jets and the poor Vancouver Canucks, who are yet again the worst team in the league. Alright, let's take a look at our stats. Who likes stats? Alright, so it is March 1st, and Wayne Gretzky has 121 points in 64 games. 80 points for Luc Robitaille. And then 53 for Gary Galley. Jim Fox has 51. Ridley 42. Gartner has 40 points in 31 games, so he's over a point per game. He just missed a bunch of time due to an injury, and then it just goes down from there. Then if we look in the entire league, Wayne Gretzky is the best goal scorer with 66 goals. That's 9 more than second place Brett Hull, who has 57. Paul Coffey has 79 assists, so he's the best passer. And Wayne Gretzky has 15 more points than second place Brett Hull, who has 106. All right. Now for goaltenders, what do we have here? Glenn Ely is 902. Oh, he's the only one, huh? So that might be part of why we've been losing some games. We haven't had enough solid goaltending by Roddy Melanson, I don't think. Alright, that's gonna be it for today. I'm gonna go ahead and save this game. And as usual, I want to thank you for tuning in as I am on my quest to try to win the Stanley Cup with the Kings with some handcuffs on my hands. Not literally, just figuratively. So it's a added challenge that I like, makes it a lot more interesting. But anyway, so that's gonna be it for me. So you take care. And until I roll this game again, I'll see you folks next time. Thank you.